missed Law 1, please go back and check it out. But here's what we're discussing. Do you think Warren Buffett got to where he is by accident? What about the average person? Could she be successful with money by accident? Yet money doesn't have to be overcomplicated, and thinking about money does not have to eat up all of our time or energy. We can be intentional and we can learn some things without it, say, taking up our lives. And this week, we're digging into 5 laws of money that are pretty easy to understand, quick to set up, and can totally transform the next 30 years of your life. They might even be all you need to know to reach financial independence. Wouldn't that be pretty cool? You just know 5 things, you implement them, you be intentional about them, and they help you get there. Now, these laws are not anything new. They come from a book first published in 1926 with all the male chauvinism you might expect of a book published in 1926. And this is my attempt to kind of bring it into a time almost 100 years later when so much has changed, and yet so much remains the same. The book is called The Richest Man in Bablyon by George S. Clason. And welcome to, if he were to rewrite that today, what might be considered the wealthiest woman in the world. And welcome to the Fife Movement. I'm your host, Amanda Neely. Thank you so much for being here. This is the only movement that helps our generation create our unique, feminine, and entrepreneurial approach to financial independence. I'll never forget this season in my life. It started in May 2009. I was feeling the nudge to go off on an entrepreneurial journey. And one weekend I went on a women's retreat, and that nudge totally turned into a formal invitation. And the following week, the Great Recession had finally caught up to our nonprofit that I worked for, and they announced they were going to be doing some layoffs. They announced on a Friday. They said, over the coming weeks, right? And that weekend, I could not stop thinking that someone with a family to feed might get laid off, and then I might leave to go on this entrepreneurial journey just a short time later. I was so distraught. So the following week, I talked to one of my bosses, we'll call him Paul the First, and I told him how I was feeling, and his advice was to talk to my other boss, Paul the Second, who, is a little higher ranked than him, right? And this might surprise you, but this was a close-knit nonprofit, and these 2 Pauls were huge mentors and teachers of mine that I'm still grateful for today for the things that they taught me. So I had no fear in going to talk to Paul the Second as well. And as we sat down in his corner office, I started to tell him what was happening. I'll never forget the number 1 piece of advice. I don't remember everything that he said, but I'll never forget this one. He said, if this new business doesn't work out, if it just doesn't work, please come back and apply to work with me, because you're going to learn so much. I'll be able to give you a better role from all that you're going to learn. And those words have just stuck with me and fueled me for the last 11 years, right? They've put me in the right frame of mind for my entire entrepreneurial journey. For me, it's been about learning and growing my knowledge, my skills, not so much about how much money I'm going to make. And even if it's not successful, I'm going to be a better person and better to go on to a new success afterward, right? So really, what Paul the Second taught me is the second law of money. How funny how that works out. Money works. So here's the law of money. Money works hard and happily for the wise person who invests in herself and finds profitable ways to employ her gifts. I've come to believe through my own experience that the best investment you can make in yourself and your unique abilities so that you can learn things and turn and use them to benefit others and receive value in return from them. And the biggest objection I've had myself and heard others is that making money from your passion and what you really love can totally ruin that passion for you. And I came across this idea first when I was a teenager watching this rom-com in the 90s called Hope Floats. I tried to watch it again. I couldn't sit through it, but I remember the very end, spoiler alert, in this movie, there's this guy that's designed and built an amazing house for himself, but that's not his day job. He works some menial task or something. And the other title character who falls in love with him is so surprised when she finds this out. And she's like, why are you not an architect? You could do this. And he says it's because he never wanted to lose his passion trying to make money using his passion. And that stuck with me, obviously. But I found kind of a solution that's worked for me and that I want to share with you. And that solution to not lose the passion when we're working in the area of our passion is to really think and act like an artist. An artist creates. An artist does their passion. They keep learning. They keep growing in that. They invest in that endeavor. And they do it without a concern for the money. That's why a lot of them are starving artists, right? But what I've seen happen is that when we've got this creative outlet, when we're pursuing our passion, maybe even outside of our job, it can often make us better at our day job, right? Because we've got this outlet on the side and we can focus better at work. We don't have to get our energy from what we do, 9 to 5 or whatever. And then I've also seen that sometimes people have found a way to make money from their passion without destroying what they love to do, because it started out as a side project and they got good at it. They had this creative revelation, right? I could make money in this way and still be able to create what I want, how I want, and, live this passion. So regardless of what happens for you, right? Whether doing your passion just helps you make more money, right? And feel more fulfilled in your day job, or whether that becomes your full-time job itself, as long as you're following law number 1, right? You're saving 1/10 of all that you make. I think you're likely to make more and see your money work harder and happier for you from having that place where you're able to pursue your passion, whether as just a thing that you do, more like a hobby, or whether if that's your profession. So my parting question for you is this: what's the one investment you can make in yourself today that will bring more of your passions and joys into your life? And this doesn't have to be a monetary investment. You don't have to spend money here. It could be as simple as taking some time to create instead of consume, right? Whatever time you'd be consuming, maybe spend that creating. And spend a minute before you go on to the next video or the next podcast episode and just ask yourself, what do I need to create right now as an investment in myself to bring myself more joy? And then follow your own wisdom and do it, make it happen, whatever it takes. Then join us for law number 3, which will be coming up next, that builds on top of these first 2 laws and gives you continued advancement. And thanks for joining me and connecting with the Fife movement. As you go about your day, remember, wealth is coming your way. Your only quest is to prepare for using it well. For more tips on how to prepare, be sure to subscribe. And to connect with the community, visit fifemovement.com. When you go there, you'll also see that I've got a gift for you where I tell you what I would tell you if all we had was a chance to grab 1 cup of coffee and just talk for a little bit. It's all in that 5-day mini course that's there. And of course, if the gift of this episode has helped you, please pay the gift forward by sharing this content with a friend. My gratitude in advance. To help this video be seen by more people, please hit the like button, and we invite your feedback in the comments below.